Pretend to be my wife." She stared at him. Dr. Adrian Hunt, chief of surgery. Millionaire, the man who'd barely spoken to her in 6 months except to bark orders about patient files. Standing in his office at 11 p.m. looking desperate. "I'm sorry, what?" "My family." He ran a hand through his hair. "They're flying in tomorrow. They think I'm married, so they've thought it for 2 years. Okay, now they want to meet her. So tell them the truth." "I can't." His jaw tightened. "My grandmother, she's dying. She has weeks, maybe days. And the one thing she keeps asking about is meeting my wife." The woman who finally made me settle down. Cassandra Moore stared at this impossible man making an impossible request. "Why me?" "Because you're the only person in this hospital I trust not to make this weird. To keep it professional. Understand it's just temporary." "Dr. Hunt, there's one condition." And that's when he said it. The thing that changed everything. "We have to make them believe it's real, which means you'll have to act like you're in love with me. Completely. Convincingly. No half measures." She should have said no. Should have walked out. Should have done anything except what she did. How long? 2 weeks, maybe 3, until his voice cracked, till my grandmother passes. This is the story of a fake marriage that started with one condition and became the most real thing either of them had ever felt. 24 hours earlier, Cassandra had been having a normal day. Normal for a medical assistant in a busy metropolitan hospital anyway. Filing charts, scheduling surgeries, avoiding Dr. Adrian Hunt as much as possible. Not because he was cruel. He wasn't. He was just intimidating. Brilliant. The kind of surgeon who performed miracles before. Lunch and didn't understand why everyone else couldn't keep up. He was also devastatingly handsome in a way that was absolutely irrelevant to her job. Dark hair always slightly too long. Sharp jaw. Eyes that saw through everything. And completely, totally out of her league. She'd been working for him for 6 months. He'd learned her coffee order in week 2. Never said thank you. Just expected things to be done correctly. She developed a crush anyway. Hated herself for it. And now he was standing in his office at 11 p.m. asking her to pretend to be his wife. "My grandmother raised me," Adrian said, pacing, not looking at her. "After my parents died, she gave up everything to make sure I became a doctor. Sacrificed her whole life for me." He stopped at the window. 2 years ago, she asked when I was going to settle down. Give her great-grandchildren. Stop living like work was the only thing that mattered. "So you lied?" "I told her I'd met someone special. That we were taking it slow, but it was serious." His reflection in the window looked pained. "I thought I'd have time. Thought eventually I'd actually meet someone and it wouldn't be a lie anymore. But you didn't." "No, I've been busy." And then 6 months ago, her cancer came back. Aggressive, terminal. And she keeps asking to meet my wife, to know I won't be alone when she's gone. He turned to face Cassandra. "I can't tell her the truth now. Can't let her die thinking I lied to her, that I'm still alone, his voice broke, I wasted the life she gave me." Cassandra's chest ached. "Dr. Hunt." "Adrian, if we're doing this, you should probably call me Adrian." "Adrian." She tested the name. "This is insane. I know. Your family will see through it immediately." "They won't. My grandmother's in hospice. She's not fully lucid anymore. She won't notice details. She just needs to see me with someone, holding hands, smiling, acting like I'm happy. And the condition? About making it convincing." He looked at her directly. "My sister will be there, my aunts, my cousins. They're not sick. They'll notice if we're faking. So we have to." He stopped. "We have to be convincing," which means acting like a couple who's been together for 2 years, who knows each other. "Who's in love?" "Yes." She should say no. This was her boss. This was insane. This would end badly. What do I get out of this? She asked instead. He blinked. What? You're asking me to give up 2 weeks of my life, to lie to your dying grandmother, to pretend to be in love with you in front of your entire family. She crossed her arms. What's in it for me? Something shifted in his expression. Respect, maybe. Name it. Medical school. What? I've been saving for medical school for 3 years. I'm $40,000 short. You pay my tuition, all of it, and I'll be your wife for 2 weeks. He didn't hesitate. Done. And a recommendation letter to whatever program I choose. Done. And you never tell anyone. Ever. This stays between us. Agreed. He pulled out his phone. Give me your bank information. I'll transfer the money tonight. I haven't said yes yet. But you're going to. He looked at her. 'Cause you need the money. Kes, because despite everything, you're a good person who won't let an old woman die sad. Damn him for being right. Fine. 2 weeks. Then we're done. 2 weeks, he agreed. He held out his hand. She took it and felt electricity shoot up her arm at the contact. This is a terrible idea, she thought. But she didn't let go. They had 18 hours before his family arrived. Adrian insisted they meet at his apartment to prepare. She'd expected something cold, minimalist, like his office. Instead, she walked into warmth. Books everywhere, comfortable furniture. Photos on the walls, him with an elderly woman who must be his grandmother. Smiling, actually smiling. You look different in these photos, she said. Younger, happier. He handed her a glass of wine. That was before I became chief of surgery. Before the job became everything. You miss it. Being happy. I miss. He stopped. I miss having time to be happy. The difference. He gestured to the couch. We need to get our story straight. How we met. How long we've been together. Details. Okay, how did we meet? Hospital. Obviously, you are my medical assistant. Your family knows you work together. They know I married someone from the hospital. I was vague about the details. Convenient, she sipped her wine. So we met at work. Then what? He thought about it. You brought me coffee one morning. I was in the middle of a 16-hour surgery, exhausted. You brought coffee without being asked, and it was perfect. Exactly how I take it. That actually happened. I know. He looked at her. That's when I noticed you. Really noticed you? Not just as my assistant, but as someone paying attention. Someone who cared. The way he said it made her breath catch. So, the coffee. Then what? Then I asked you to dinner to thank you. It was supposed to be professional. But we talked for 4 hours and I realized he stopped. Realized what? That I'd been alone for so long, I'd forgotten what it felt like to connect with someone. The room felt very warm suddenly. Adrian, I know this is fake. I know it's a transaction. But for it to work, we need two. We need details that sound real, that feel real. Okay, so we had dinner, talked for hours. Then what? Then I kissed you. He said it matter-of-factly. In the hospital parking lot at 2 a.m. after another long shift. I walked you to your car and I couldn't stop thinking about you. So I kissed you. Did I kiss you back? Yes, his eyes held hers. You did. And that's when we both knew this was more than professional. Cassandra's heart hammered. We're getting pretty detailed for a fake story. That's the point. My sister will ask questions. My aunts will pry. I need answers that sound lived in. Real. Okay, so we kissed, then we dated. For how long before you proposed? A year. I proposed at the place we had our first date. Got down on one knee in the same restaurant. You cried. I cried. Happy tears, You said yes immediately. Didn't even let me finish asking. That's actually sweet. It needs to be. My grandmother is a romantic. She needs to believe where he stopped. In love. Yes. They sat in silence for a moment. We should practice, he said finally. Practice what? Being comfortable with each other. My family will notice if we're stiff. Awkward couples who've been together for 2 years touch casually, hold hands, sit close. You want to practice touching? I want us to not look like strangers when I put my arm around you tomorrow. He had a point. Okay, how do we? He moved closer on the couch, put his arm around her shoulders. She fit against him perfectly, too perfectly. Is this okay? He asked quietly. Yeah, it's fine. You're tense. Because this is weird. I know. But he adjusted slightly. We need to look natural, like we do this all the time. She forced herself to relax, to lean into him instead of pulling away. His hand settled on her shoulder, warm through her shirt. Better, he said. This doesn't feel like practicing. This feels like what? Like something I could get used to. Nothing. Never mind. They arrived at the hospice facility at noon. Adrian's hand found hers in the parking lot. Ready? He asked. No, me neither. He squeezed her hand. Remember? We're in love. We're happy. We're lying to your dying grandmother, giving her peace. His jaw was tight. There's a difference. They walked in together. His family was already there. She was small, frail, hooked up to machines. But her eyes were sharp when they landed on Cassandra. This is her, she asked, voice weak but clear. This is your wife. Yes, grandmother. Adrian's voice was gentle. This is Cassandra. Come here, child. Cassandra approached the bed. The old woman's handpaper, thin, trembling, reached out. Cassandra took it. You're beautiful, the grandmother said. He told me you were beautiful, but I thought he was exaggerating. He always exaggerates. I do not, Adrian protested. Hush, I'm talking to your wife. She squeezed Cassandra's hand. Do you love him? Cassandra's throat tightened. Yes, she said, and was surprised by how easily the lie came. Very much. Good. He needs someone to love him. He forgets to take care of himself. Works too hard. Thinks saving everyone else means he doesn't need saving too. I know, Cassandra said softly. I'm working on it. The grandmother smiled. Good girl. It'll be good for him. Adrian came to stand beside Cassandra, put his arm around her waist. The gesture was natural, protective. His grandmother saw it, smiled wider. You touch her like you're afraid she'll disappear, she observed. That's how I know it's real. You hold on tight. I do, Adrian said quietly, looking at Cassandra. I do hold on tight. Something in his voice made Cassandra's chest ache. Adrian's sister cornered her in the hallway 20 minutes later. I'm Maya, she said, assessing eyes. Adrian's baby sister, an official bullshit detector. Cassandra, I know. I Googled you. She crossed her arms. Medical assistant, no social media presence. Very convenient. I like my privacy. Or you don't exist as Adrian's wife and he's making this whole thing up to make grandmother happy before she dies. Cassandra's heart hammered. Why would he do that? Because he's Adrian. Because he'd do anything for her, including hire someone to play his wife for a few weeks. I'm not hired. Then prove it. Maya stepped closer. Tell me something only his wife would know. Cassandra thought fast. He has a scar, she said, on his left shoulder blade. From when he was 8 and fell out of a tree trying to rescue a cat. Your grandmother told him to leave it, but he insisted. The cat scratched him on the way down. Maya's eyes widened. How did you? He told me on our 3rd date. We were. She stopped, remembered the story they'd practiced. We're talking about scars, things that mark us. He showed me his and told me this story. What else? He cries at the end of It's a Wonderful Life, every time. Won't admit it, but he does. I've seen it. Maya stared at her, then slowly smiled. Okay, maybe you're real. I am real. Good, because if you're not, if you hurt him or embarrass him in front of grandmother, her smile turned sharp. I will make your life a living hell. Understood? Maya's expression softened slightly. He deserves to be happy. He spent so long taking care of everyone else. If you're actually making him happy, thank you. She walked away, leaving Cassandra in the hallway, wondering how much of what she'd just said was acting and how much was becoming true. That night, they went back to Adrian's apartment, exhausted, drained. You were amazing today, he said, pouring wine. With my grandmother, with Maya. You made them believe it. The story helped. The details. It was more than that. He handed her a glass. You were genuine, kind. You held my grandmother's hand like you actually cared. I did care. She's lovely, Adrian. Even dying, she's trying to take care of you. I know. His voice was rough. They sat in silence. Then, the scars story. He said, how did you know that? Your grandmother told me while you were talking to the doctor. She said you've always been the boy who climbs trees to save things. He stopped. That's exactly right. She loves you so much. You can see it in how she looks at you. I know. That's why I can't, his voice cracked. I can't let her die thinking I lied to her. Cassandra set down her wine, moved closer, put her hand on his. Adrian. He looked at her, and something shifted. The space between them felt charged, dangerous. We should, he started. Yeah, we should. Neither of them moved. Cassandra. She kissed him. Didn't think, just acted. Pressed her mouth to his and kissed him like she'd been wanting to for 6 months. He froze for half a second, then kissed her back, hard, desperate. Pulled her into his lap and kissed her like he was drowning. When they broke apart, both breathing hard. That wasn't she started. Part of the deal, he finished. I know. We shouldn't. No, we shouldn't. But his hand was still in her hair, and she was still in his lap. This is a bad idea, she whispered. Terrible idea. We're going to regret this. Probably. She kissed him again, and he carried her to his bedroom. She woke up in his bed, alone. Found him in the kitchen, making coffee. Hey, he said, not looking at her. Hey. Silence. Last night he started. Was a mistake, she finished. I know, we got caught up in the role-playing and... Is that what it was? He finally looked at her role-playing. What else would it be? I don't know, Cassandra. You tell me. Adrian. Because it didn't feel like acting to me. Felt he stopped. Felt real. Her heart hammered. It can't be real. This is a transaction. If you're paying me to pretend to be your wife, then why did you kiss me? I don't know. Bullshit. He crossed to her. You kissed me because you wanted to. Because you've been wanting to. Same reason I kissed you back. That doesn't change anything. It changes everything. He cupped her face, Cassandra. I've been half in love with you since you brought me that coffee 6 months ago. I just didn't know how to. I didn't think someone like you would ever. Someone like me, real, genuine. Someone who sees past the MD and the money and the reputation. His thumb brushed her cheek. Someone who held my grandmother's hand like she mattered. Tears burned her eyes. Adrian, this is crazy. I know. But pretending to be married to you has made me realize I don't want to pretend. I want it to be real. We barely know each other. I know you take your coffee with 2 sugars and 1 cream. I know you volunteer at the free clinic on Thursdays. I know you want to be a surgeon so you can help people the way my grandmother helped me. I know his voice cracked. I know I've never felt this way about anyone. She looked at this impossible man making an impossible confession. What are you saying? I'm saying when this is over, when my grandmother passes and the 2 weeks are up, I don't want you to leave. He took a breath. I want to try this for real. No contract. No conditions. Ches, that's insane. Probably your family will think we're crazy. They already think we're married. What's crazier than that? She laughed through tears. This could end badly, or it could end perfectly. He kissed her softly. But I'd rather risk badly than never try at all. She kissed him back. Okay? Yeah, let's try. After this is over, let's see if this is real. He pulled her close. And she thought, 2 weeks. We have 2 weeks to figure this out. Adrian's grandmother passed on day 11, peacefully, in her sleep, with Adrian and Cassandra at her bedside. Her last words were, "Take care of each other." The funeral was 3 days later. Cassandra stood beside Adrian, held his hand, watched him grieve with a silence that broke her heart. After his family thanked her, "You made her so happy," Maya said, knowing Adrian had someone, that he wouldn't be alone. "I'm glad I could be here." You love him, not a question. It's an observation. Cassandra looked at Adrian across the room. Dark suit, devastated eyes. Looking lost in a way he'd never looked in the hospital. "Yes," she said, and meant it. "I do." The contract was over. The money transferred. The recommendation letter written. Cassandra had everything she'd asked for, and she was miserable because Adrian had pulled away after the funeral. Distant, professional. Like the 2 weeks had never happened. Like they'd never agreed to try. She'd given him space, told herself he was grieving, that he needed time. But 2 weeks of silence was killing her. She was about to give up. Then he showed up at her apartment at 11 p.m. "I'm sorry," he said. "For what?" "For disappearing. For pulling away. He stopped. For being terrified." "Of what?" "Of losing you the way I lost her. It's the way I've lost everyone I've ever loved." His voice was rough. "My parents. My grandmother. Everyone I let myself love leaves. Adrian. But then I realized Di was losing you anyway. By pushing you away, so I'm here. I'm choosing brave instead of safe." He stepped closer. "Cassandra Hayes, I know we started this as a fake marriage, as a transaction. But somewhere along the way it became real for me. You became real for me." He took her hands. "I love you. I'm in love with you. And I don't want to pretend anymore." Tears streamed down her face. "I love you too. Yeah. I fell for you when you talked about your grandmother, when you trusted me with something that mattered, when you kissed me like I was everything. Yeah, like I was everything." He pulled her close, kissed her. Not like a fake husband, like a real one. "So what now?" she whispered. "Now we do this for real. No contract, no conditions. Just us." "That's terrifying." "I know," he smiled. "But I'd rather be terrified with you than safe without you." She kissed him again and thought about the condition that had changed everything. We have to make them believe it's real. Turned out the best way to fake love was to actually fall. And they had completely